I just see Steve mid-pour of his fucking knockoff Fanta. Guess we're having a cold open this week. Woo! What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 17 of the Flip Screen Games podcast. What are you laughing about?
The fucking thing. Oh, God.
You're still losing it? All right, laugh it out. Laugh it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. All right, ready? Ready?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Mm-hmm. What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 17 of the Flip Screen Games podcast, a weekly video game podcast where two, sometimes three, best buds from different nations come together to talk about the wide, wide world of video games. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined, as always, by my very good friend and co-host, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello.
And making his grand return to the program, the mayor of Haken himself, Mr. Chewy Huerta.
Hey. Oh, I always go a little too early. Hey.
I always try to give you the pause for the pomp and circumstance, and you're just ready to jump off the bench because that's the kind of just player that you are, Chewy. You know, we know that you're one to come in and...
Put me in.
Yep, you're ready. You're ready. Getting in there and, getting those kills, racking up them points, embarrassing the hell out of Steve at games he thinks he's good at. We know that you're the champion, of course.
Mancala.
Not playing it since. I'm too embarrassed to go back and play it.
I'll never touch that game again. So, of course, we talked about this on the show last week. I know we talked about it on Nintendo Noise. We are having Chewy on for a very special episode this week. We are doing our holiday gift guide for 2021 this year. We were asked by one of our listeners, Mr. Matthew Murphy, one of our Patreon supporters, to do a little holiday gift guide on, the best gamer gifts that we thought you should be, keeping an eye out for, maybe get under the tree for the gamers in your life, or that you might ask for from some of the folks who are looking for gifts to get you in 2021. So we have a ton of picks to get into that. I'm pretty excited about this. We're days away from Black Friday, so like the deals are out, right? So like plenty to pick from this year, that's for sure. So of course we're gonna get into all that and a bunch of other stuff. But before that, let me just remind you that this episode of the Flip Screen Games podcast is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of November. Of course, they are Andy Radford, Christian Oliveria, Christopher Valenz, Wakahula, and Zaid Ida. Thank you guys so much for your support over there on patreon.com/flipscreengames. Y'all are the realest of the real, and we appreciate your support. Speaking of the Patreon, there's a bunch of stuff that you can grab over there. Extra perks, extra goodies. You could become a Patreon producer just like any of those folks, or you could get access to our Twitch archives, our Patreon exclusive podcast, One More Thing, where we'll be talking about, actually, I don't know what we'll be talking about tonight, but Chewy will be on it, so check that out. So it's gonna be well worth your buck for the first ever guest on One More Thing. Incredible. So go check all that stuff out. Go check all that stuff out, as well as, you can also head over to flipscreen.games. That's our website where we've got links to all the free links where you can go and support us, get involved, come join the community, right into the show, just like a bunch of fine folks did for this week's main topic. And, come be part of the community. We'd love to hear from you. Come get some extra content from us over on the Twitch channel every Wednesday and Thursday where they're streaming video games for your viewing pleasure. We're often playing with members of the community too. So if you want to come game with us, come chat with us, there's a bunch of great ways you can do that, all of which you can find over on flipscreen.games, our website. So I know normally we kick off the show by talking about what we're playing this week. Steve and I are playing the same games, so we can...
It's been like a hot 2 days since we recorded the last week. It's a Thanksgiving. So we haven't really got much further into anything.
Yeah, it's like I'm playing Halo a lot. I love Halo. I am obsessed with Halo. I am back in my groove which feels real nice. I was playing earlier on my lunch break today, and every game I played, I had a KD spread that was positive 10 or more in every match.
Dang.
I was the best player in like 3 out of the 5 games I played, I think. I got a kill-tacular, which is when you kill the entire other team in a row.
Wow.
Killed all 4 of them in a line by myself. I was on fire today, and it felt real good.
I want you on my team when we play, please, because I'm not very good. I need you to carry.
Yeah,
carry
I mean,
me.
come on through, come play with me, bud.
Yeah.
You know, we got to get those chops. And it's the thing, like, I've never been this good at Halo. I've always been a mediocre at best Halo player, and I feel like I'm hitting a groove right now. You know, Lord knows if I'll maintain it, right? I always love. I'm like, oh, I had a good game, had a good day, was doing great, and then you know. You get on mic, and who knows what happens. So, like, hopefully, when it's time to carry you, I can have as strong a performance as I had today.
I hope so. I really hope so. But it sounds like then, and I think I know the answer, that Hitman is still sealed then, I presume. So
oh, it's right here.
I won't get to talk to you.
Wow. Still in the plastic wrap, yeah.
Wow.
Here's the other fucked up thing, Steve. In my other browser window right now, I have my Amazon cart. I have Far Cry 6 for $35 in it. It's pretty cheap.
I almost picked up Guardians of the Galaxy for £29 at Tesco's earlier today.
Almost?
That's so close.
Get it?
Yeah, almost.
It's $30.
I don't know if I'm getting it for Christmas because someone's mentioned things. So it's really tough because I've got Christmas and birthday, and I know my whole family need things to buy me. So like December time is like, anything I buy is just, I can't buy anything. It's all off the table.
I always run into that issue where I'm just like, man, I don't know what to put on my list. I'm an adult now with money that I can spend. I just kind of buy it. So I've like tried to train myself to get to that point where I'm like, all right, we're a month off from whatever this thing is. I'm going to stop getting myself stuff and just be like, here's this list of things that I would normally get myself, but you can get it for me.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at, and I know you're probably in the same boat, Pete. But you know, it's just I'm gonna wait.
I feel like I've trained a lot of people in my life in a bad way, in that way where they're like, oh, Pete just buys everything for himself that he might get. So like I've had like my best friend actually, you remember when they did that when the Scott Pilgrim game came back like a couple months ago? Mm-hmm. They did that like crazy physical collector's edition bundle, and I was like agonizing over like, oh, I really want to buy this, but should I? And he called me and was like, hey man, look, I want to buy you this for maybe my birthday or something. I forget what it was for. He's like, did you get it for yourself already? No. He's like, okay, cool. I'm going to buy it for you then. I was like, great. That's awesome. Thank you. Like, obviously, you know, no surprise for me, but and I've definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
ahead, fine not having surprises at this point.
Yeah,
like,
it's fine.
I would rather know and not buy it myself or end up with duplicates from people, you know, because there was that one year I ended up with 3 copies of The Witcher 3 on Switch.
That's funny.
And, like, cause
you didn't even need one copy.
No, I know. It was crazy. I ended up with 3 copies. And I've ended up selling all of them because I am not going to play that game on Switch.
Oh, man. I get it.
Yeah. But I did want to give Chewy the chance. Are any games you're playing that you want to shout out?
I mean, started Pokemon over the last weekend, and then I actually got another game called Grow, Song of the Evertree. And I don't know if you all have played, shoot, I'm forgetting the name now, but there's this developer called like Prideful Sloth, and they made the game Yonder.
That sounds
familiar. What the subtitle is. It came out on like PlayStation a while back and then Switch a little bit later. And so I had played that one before and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun, little open world thing. So Grow is it's got similar-ish art style to that, a little bit different, but it's still like very like bright, colorful, big like green worlds, lush green worlds and everything. But that's kind of like the whole thing with this game. trying to revitalize this ever tree, and there's these like big dark purple thorns all over the place, and so you are growing these seeds which grow into basically like little universes, their own little world, and you travel to that world, you go and pick the weeds, you get rid of all the clutter around and start planting seeds and growing it, and it's pretty cute so far. um, there are these little creatures that I just found called they look like little jackalopes, like those horned bunny rabbit
yeah.
type of things, and they're kind of weird in the sense of like they teleport through places and you just watch them like pop up out of places.
That is weird.
And so I followed them into their own world, which I had to take a portal through to get there. And they just made me do a bunch of chores for them, catch their bugs, chop their wood, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's very charming so far. Lots of dialogue, but it's like I don't mind because it's pretty well written. It's pretty funny, quirky game. But yeah, I've only played about like an hour of it so far, and already I'm like, oh, this is cute. I could keep going.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You playing that on Switch, I presume?
Yeah, I got it on Switch, so yeah, been checking it out.
And what was it called again?
It's called Grow, Song of the Evertree.
Grow, Song.
Oh, and I guess that song part is a big part of the title. Like you're an alchemist, and there was this old civilization that used to really, I guess, kind of worship the Evertree, and their song was like the connection to the tree, but everybody kind of lost touch with that, and then stuff got bad, as things go.
Mm-hmm.
And your character kind of has a connection to the song, so when you sing, it like makes things grow a little bit faster, and so yeah, it's basically that, just trying to get reconnected with nature. It's cool. It's cute.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
The only other thing that I was going to mention is I've picked up Disco Elysium again because they've released the 1.02 patch, and I do want to just give them some praise because all of the crashing issues seem to be resolved. I haven't had a single crash since I've played it again. Going in and out of areas, I'm no longer worried I'm going to lose progress. The slowdown stuff is still there and the menu issues are still there, but I think from talking to you, Pete, those things were present on the PlayStation version anyway, like the frame rate slowdown in places and things like that.
That to some degree, I didn't have an issue with the menus really to my memory, but yeah, it was like not something that never happened, but I wouldn't say it was like a noticeable, like common issue that in the way that it sounds like it is for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also playing on PS5, so
right. Okay. I mean, that's a lot more power than the Switch. I mean, I'm hopeful though that it gives me hope that they're going to continue to improve it. They fixed the biggest glaring issue, which was clearly like some kind of memory issue that was causing crashes. And now that that's out of the way, I'm hopeful that they can continue to patch and fix some of these smaller issues that I've got with the game. But for the most part now, it doesn't affect the kind of moment-to-moment stuff. It's really just when you're moving through areas or you tab through the menus, they get a little bit laggy at times. But I can access all of the menus as well. I haven't had the issue that I had before where I can access like the thinking one where you do process all the thoughts and stuff. So if you were worried about playing that game on Switch, I would say don't worry about it now. You can go and pick it up, but it's still not the best place to play that game. I think you should probably play it somewhere else if you can.
Are you going to pick it back up now that it's working, or?
I want to, but Death's Door came out today as of recording, and I really want to play that as well. And I want to give that a good shot before we get into Game of the Year season.
Yeah.
But I also want to find out what the hell happens in Disco Elysium. I'm hoping that I can at least play like an hour a night, chip away at it like I was before in bed, because I just given up before. I was just like, I'm done with this. I can't deal with having to replay hours of gameplay over and over again.
I really hope you get around to finishing it, just because I think if you finish it, it'll probably be on your short list for Game of the Year. So we'll see. Hope you do.
Yeah, and it's good to hear that it's at least like not crashing so much, because I haven't picked it up yet, but it's one that I've been interested in. But yeah, I don't know where I'll pick it up.
Is it on
if
Xbox
it's the
yet?
Switch version or somewhere else.
It's on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, might sound like one I need to go on Xbox to play.
Yeah, I think even if it does run on Switch, I don't know. I feel like you're gonna have a better time if you play it on PC or Xbox or PlayStation. Frankly,
Yeah.
but wherever.
Honestly, I think PC is the best place. Like, it's a point and click game at the end of the day, and I think that's where it was designed. They've done a good job of adapting it to the controller, as I said before, but I do think the PC is probably the kind of premier place to play the game.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. If you're a big old dork. I'm just But yeah, I think wherever you can play the game, it's worth playing. It's definitely one of the best games I played this year. One of my favorites ever, I think, in the genre. So check it out. All right. So let's jump into this this holiday gift guide, as it were. We got a bunch of responses from the community. We got some ideas of our own here. Where do we want to start? Who does anybody have like a first thing they want to pitch out the gate, or should we start with a comment from the listeners? What do you think?
I was thinking we start with kind of what we're hoping to get for Christmas or for the holidays as kind of a good place. I'm really hopeful that I get a PlayStation 5. I have no idea if I'm going to get one or not, but I really, really hope I get one.
Hey, Steve, what's up behind you?
I'm not sure if I will, though.
What about you, Chewy? What do you hope you get for Christmas?
You know what? I keep seeing this one go on sale right now, and I'm just like, oh, maybe I should just put it on my list. But the little Mario Kart Live cars, like the Mario and Luigi ones,
they were on sale for like $50 the other day, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, that's so tempting, especially after the free update as well.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at those and going like, oh man, I'm about to go hang out with my family all weekend. How cool would it be to, because my brother, he's got like a huge living room, and I'm like, dude, I bet we can make some dope courses in here.
Yeah.
And so that one has definitely been tempting lately. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's the thing to pick up right now. It just got the update, and you get to make your own little license. I don't know if y'all did that way before. I think you could do it online or something, or maybe you could download it. It's fine, but it looks cute.
What's it like, a driving license card you get with the? Does it like your face on there?
Yeah, I think you can like take a picture of yourself and like
that's so
make
funny.
A little Mario Kart.
You take a picture with the car. That's so cool.
I like that.
So, yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that one. It's fun. It's fun for like the whole family.
For sure.
It's cute.
That's something that, like, if I had kids in my family, I absolutely would have bought them. Like, the only children in my family are, like, teenagers or, like, entering into their 20s now. So they don't want toys on Christmas anymore, which is a real shame. Because I miss buying toys for them.
Yeah. And you're like, I want toys. So.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I am so excited. My two best friends are just like are having a baby in like days from now, like 2 weeks, I think. Even actually less than that. It's soon. It's imminent. This child is coming, and I'm very excited for this kid to get past baby stage where I can be like, okay, toys. What's the hot new toy this year? You're getting it, kid.
Yeah, I love that.
You just gotta get them indoctrinated into Nintendo at an early age.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's the first, like, I was like, yeah. So, I'm actually gonna be at the hospital with them, like waiting, to meet the kid and everything. And I was like, I hope you know that the first thing that I do when I meet this kid is I'm going to be like, here you go, little Patrick. This is a Nintendo Switch. Just hand it to this baby. There you go, buddy.
Which Pokemon plushie are you going to get them, though? That's the one you've got to switch.
I think what you do, you got to get 3 and you let them pick. And if
that's so good. They like crawl towards the one that they want.
Mm-hmm. And if they pick wrong, you disown them and you have another kid and you try again. But yeah, that's what you got to do. So I'll get them all 3.
which 3 are you gonna go with though? Are you thinking like 3 starters or like
3 starters
3
for
random?
sure.
Okay.
I feel like you go Kanto because it's the classic, but like who knows?
yeah.
Maybe we give them, a more modern set.
What's that? The correct choice for you is Bulbasaur? No, it's the other one. It's the
Steve,
water one that I can't even remember the name.
fucking
It turns into
Steve.
Blastoise.
Are we even friends? Did you just fucking say that to me? If Chewy wasn't here, I'd walk off this podcast right now.
What is the water one? Squirtle.
It's Squirtle. Yeah, there you go.
I forgot. I knew it was Squirtle as well because you were
Oh,
so
you
excited
knew it was
when
Squirtle. That's why you
Blastoise
said
came to
Bulbasaur.
The other one. Yeah, wait, that's what I thought. I thought it was that one. I'm sorry.
You know what? Okay.
I
Serenity
don't know
now.
Pokemon. I'm sorry. I know Pikachu and Snorlax. That's all I know.
Every Pokemon is Snorlax to you, I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, the thing that I would love to see under the tree would be the Zelda Game & Watch. I really want one.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten one for myself yet. Would love to receive that. That would be sweet.
I wasn't interested in one, and then Ray from the community sent me a link to like Nintendo's article on it and all the cool things you can do and like all the Easter eggs they put into it.
Yeah.
And it just looks like they put so much care and attention into it this time around. Like the Mario one, it felt a little bit lackluster to me, but it comes with this cool stand with the Triforce on it, and you get like all of the different versions of the games. Like you get
3 different games too.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's got your favorite on there, right? Link's
Awakening. Yeah, I really want it for that mostly. So we'll see. Maybe.
Man, I haven't gotten any of those, and more and more, I'm just like, oh yeah, it's pretty cool.
They're
mind.
sweet. They are cool.
Yeah.
I wish I'd picked up like the mini SNES and NES at this point as well. Like I never bothered because
I have them
none of the
all.
games really that interested me, but they look so cool.
I have both of those. I have the PlayStation 1 mini. I bought that for like $10 at a Target.
I have one of those. I meant to like hack the thing
Yeah.
as well, so you could like put more things on it.
I
never
got
around to doing it. No.
Yeah, me neither. One of these
But it's
days.
so cute, and you get like the USB PlayStation controllers with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are no sticks on them, which sucked.
I mean, that's how they were back then. You got to suffer through it. It's authentic.
I liked the DualShock, the original DualShock. Do you remember the little analog button that you had to press in order to turn the sticks on and off, or they didn't work properly?
Yeah.
So funny. All right. So I came up with kind of a preliminary list here, and a bunch of the things that the folks wrote in with fit into these categories pretty well. So the first one I had on my list, I'll start us off, is a discount Game of the Year contender. So I mentioned at the top, right, we're heading into Black Friday season. Even by the time you listen to this on Monday, it's Cyber Monday. There'll still be sales going on, probably all throughout the week. Right now, like, a lot of the Game of the Year contenders are seeing deep discounts, especially some of the older ones. Like you can grab Hitman 3 for like $20. You can grab, Guardians of the Galaxy, like Steve said, for $30. I just grabbed, Far Cry for $35. Like pretty
Ratchet
much.
and Clank was 30 quid at the same store as well. It was crazy. And the Black Friday Mario bundle with the 3 months of, they've like even sweetened the deal even more, even though it's cheaper this year. They've added 3 months of Switch Online onto it, and then Tesco's in the UK took another £20 off it, so it was like £236 just for that bundle, which is a phenomenal price.
I saw Breath of the Wild marked down at $25, which is the cheapest it's ever been.
insane.
That's the cheapest it's ever been by like I think 30 was the cheapest it had been before that.
I've never seen it that cheap. That's insane.
So I think that, or like in a similar kind of vein, and I guess this is a second one, but I'll add it on here because it's the same thing basically. It's get them a game. It's a game that you want them to play that they'll actually like. Because I think that's another thing that I know, like I've run into that where people will get me a game being like, oh, I want you to play this game, so I bought it for you. The Witcher 3. But without really that thought, it's like, well, but will they want to play this game? you know?
Whereas something like Moonlighter, for example, was a really thoughtful game because
Love that.
it's so good.
Fell in love
it
with
was
it.
awesome.
Yeah, that was great. And I think that those are both solid things, right? Like if if they've got a new console, or maybe they're like a casual gamer who only buys a couple games a year, but you really know the kind of games that they like, maybe you can get them their next favorite game. And again, right now, super super easy time to do that and grab one on a good sale. And I want to use.
I would add to that though, like any special editions as well, because they go on sale quite a lot, and they often come with like either a still book, or you might get a figurine or something with it. And when they come down in price, because often at times I won't buy the special edition at launch, but I then sometimes regret that I didn't pick it up, because I end up falling in love with the game. Like I had that same thing happen with Horizon Zero Dawn.
I still want that Aloy statue.
It's so cool, but I never knew I would love the game that much, so I didn't bother picking it up. But if you can get that for someone after the fact, I think a lot of people would get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I had that on my list too. But we'll get to that later. But I want to use this one as a jumping off point for a comment that came from one of our Patreon supporters, Asobi, who wrote in and said, I'm actually going to buy a friend of mine Metroid Dread, who has never played Metroid, but I feel like Game Pass would be a good gift right now, too, with Forza, Halo, and Back 4 Blood. That's another great one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Game Pass subscription. If you know somebody who's got an Xbox or plays on PC, fantastic gift.
That's a big one that's on my list, too. I got Game Pass again recently because they were doing it for like $1. Like, you get a month of Game Pass for $1, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get it.
I have Game Pass.
Then they hooked you in, right?
I have Game Pass until 2023 because of that shit. I did that thing where they're like, oh, it's $1, and then buy a bunch of 12 months, and then just transfer it all over. And I think I spent like $60 and got like 3 years of Game Pass.
That was the Xbox Gold conversion thing that they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one's a cool one just because there's even beyond all of the big releases and stuff, they get a lot of awesome indies as well. Ones that you're like, oh, cool, I want to try this out. But, after a bit, your indies start to chip away at your wallet where you're like, oh, $20 here, $20 there. And this, you can just be like, oh, cool, there's so many on here that I can try out and play and enjoy. And then that's it.
Not to mention,
it's great because you might not have picked up that game or because of the price, or even thought to try it because it might be a genre that's outside of your comfort zone. I never would have picked up Carrion, for example, that was on there because it's a Metroidvania, but I fell in love with that game. Unpacking is another great example. I was talking about it with Pete last week on the Game Awards episode. The story and the way it delivers the story in that game is phenomenal, and I want everyone to go and play it. And it's on Game Pass. It's like the best place you can go and play it, because if you get Game Pass for £1 for 3 months, you can then go and play that game, and the developer still gets paid, and you get to play this amazing game.
Yeah, and then on top of that, even going back to what Pete was saying, they can discover, or what you were saying rather, they can discover they loved a game and then be like, oh, cool, this indie's got this limited edition run, a physical copy. I want to pick that up because the game was awesome and I got to try it out, and that's how I
like a really cool Rolsey plushie from Fangamer. That one's also on my Christmas list.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
And I mean similarly, the library of retro games there is also really strong. Right? If you want to scratch that nostalgia itch, there's so many old classics on Game Pass, your Skyrims and,
Oblivion just got Fable Anniversary Edition just got up-resed and frame rate boosted along with Oblivion. Oblivion now plays 1800p, 60 frames a second.
I'm sorry, did you just say that the Fable Anniversary Edition got a graphics boost too? I might have to just... Yeah, I've been looking for a game to stream solo. That might be the one.
I think it's 4K 60 it runs at now. It might be 1800p 60, but it still looks very fucking good.
Ooh, hell yeah. Oh, I love that game. Love that game. God damn. Can't wait to be the chicken chaser again.
Can't wait for the new one. Come on, Playground Games.
I'm so
I know you've made one of my favorite games this year. Make me another one.
I'm so excited for them to make a new Fable. Like, that IP has been dormant for so long. So long. So I'm gonna jump into this other one from a listener, because it's in kind of a similar vein, and I know it checks a box that both Steve and I had on our lists, at least because I can read them. Our lists are right here. I don't know what Chewy's is. It's still a mystery to me. So Griffinix wrote in and said, here's some Switch gift ideas. 128 gigabyte plus SD card to hold plenty of digital games. eShop gift cards. Even $20 can get you a good number of indie games, especially with all the sales going on. And finally, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because is your Switch collection really complete if you don't have Mario Kart?
It's not, but I kind of feel like, does anyone not have Mario Kart at this point? Looking at their sales figures, it's like...
If you know someone who doesn't have it, though, perfect.
Then they should get it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're getting to the point where everybody's got like 2 copies of Mario Kart.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like outside of the Switch, the storage thing is really, I think, key. I know on your list you've got like the memory expansion, and there's like loads of options, right? Even on Xbox specifically, I'm thinking you've got now 3 storage sizes of those Xbox expansion cards that you can choose from. So 512, 1 terabyte, or 2 terabytes. So there's 3 different price points there. But even outside of that, an external SSD is an incredible choice for pretty much any of the consoles apart from the Switch. Even the old last-gen consoles, the games run faster on an external SSD than on the internal ones. So if you want to get someone something to give their old console, or even your old console, like a bit of a speed boost, when I stream, I have an old Xbox One that I stream Shenmue from. I'm running it off an external SSD, and it loads so quick. But you can also run old Xbox One games or PS4 games on your Series X or Series S or your PlayStation 5. You can run them from the external SSD, so they don't have to take up the capacity on the internal drive.
Yeah, and those are all good gifts. I think, because for the same reason that, like, there's a whole other category I'll get into later, but I think that the best gifts are either something very practical that you would get a lot of use out of, but is expensive, and you're like, like, this would be nice to have, but I don't need it, so I won't buy it for myself. I love getting those kinds of gifts, and I think the expandable memory is a perfect example of that. And then the other side of that is like, oh, this is a weird, extravagant thing I would never buy for myself. We'll talk about those later.
I definitely agree with like an SD card too. I am at the point where my 400 gigabyte SD card is full, and I'm just like, let's see how much these 1 terabyte cards can drop to this year. Because usually every Black Friday, I'm watching those prices, and I'm like, all right, I need a new SD card. They're like 137 right now, and I'm just like, let's try to see if
sub
it'll go
50.
lower.
It's got to be sub 50 for me to bite on something like that, you know?
129 at the moment on Amazon in the UK. That's a loss of money. I'm still running on a 64 gig card, and it got to the point where I couldn't even save a screenshot the other week. So I deleted all of my old screenshots and videos, and I felt sad that I'd wiped out my memory of like finishing Zelda. It's gone.
Oh
now.
yeah.
But I can remember doing it, so it's fine. And I've never gone and looked back through those screenshots, so it's probably time for me to wipe them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everybody. The other thing with the Switch too, like if you don't have an SD card in the console itself, you are actually limited to how many screenshots and videos you can take. That number expands a lot more. Yeah, it expands a lot more once you add an SD card. So a lot of people ran into it in the Animal Crossing community because you just take screenshots and videos all over the place in that game. And yeah, people were just going out and putting in just a small SD card just to expand that.
So another one that I think is in kind of a similar vein is a additional controller. But I'm also going to add a charging station onto that. I think those are both like similar, where it's like, it's a nice to have. I think like, unless you're, if you're playing on Switch, you probably have a couple controllers because there's a lot of multiplayer games. Maybe you've played Smash, you played your Mario parties, whatever, right? Like, if you have a console where you're regularly doing multiplayer, you probably have a couple controllers. But I think if you've got your PlayStation or your Xbox and that's your primary single player machine, there's a lot of people who probably only have one controller and don't go through the trouble of buying another $70 controller when you could just buy a game, right? Or something else. So I always think that's a really nice thing. I've been gifted controllers a couple times, and it's just really nice to have that second controller in rotation so that, especially if you're playing on PlayStation and you have one die on you, you don't have to go and plug it in and be, stuck to the wall or whatever, right? Like, you can kind of just go plug that second one in, grab the other one. Even easier if you have the charging station. Really nice to have that ability to just pop it right on, get your stuff charged up, and then, keep rocking and rolling. You're never without a controller. Plus, if you're like me, I just really like controllers. I like having different ones. I have 3 different Xbox controllers. I had 3 or 4 different PlayStation 4 controllers. It's nice to have that variety,
I needed 3 or 4 different PlayStation 4 controllers because those things had a battery life of about 2 minutes. It was ridiculous with that light boss sucking all the juice out of it. I hated that controller so much. It was awful. But I would add to that, like, specifically for the Xbox, the play and charge kit for me. I know a bunch of people like AA's. Fair enough, because they're easy and convenient, and you might have a rechargeable thing in the wall. I don't really like them, and I love the Xbox play and charge kit. It gives it such a great battery life. You can plug it directly into the USB-C port on the top. It comes with a USB-C cable that you can plug into the console. You can just plug into a standard wall charger. I just have a plug socket by my seat in the living room, so when I'm playing and it tells me the battery life's low, I can just plug it straight in and it's charging while I'm playing. I really like that. And unlike some of the external or the third-party ones where it needs to charge externally in like a charging station, the Xbox One lets you plug directly in. And I think it's kind of how they keep their costs of the controller down a little bit, because I think they're only £50 in the UK, those controllers, compared to the DualSense, which I think is 70. So I think the not having the battery included, they've managed to cut a little bit of the cost off it.
Oh, also, if you are getting an extra controller for somebody in the Xbox ecosystem, this one, the Xbox 20th anniversary, they're still selling them. This thing is hot fire. So,
well, there's that one. There's the Halo Elite one and the Forza one. The Halo one looks so good. But the price on that thing is just like, oh no, the Elite 2 controller is so expensive, but I bet it feels incredible. The other thing is like the Xbox Design Lab, being able to go and design your own controller. You used to, and I don't know if you still can, be able to buy a voucher.
You can, I think,
to someone else.
Let me check.
And then they can log on and design their own controller. Or what you could do is design something that you think is fitting for them, and then it gives you a little bit of that personality and that personal touch that you've gone out there and you've designed something unique and special for them. You can have their gamer tag laser etched into it, and you can give that to them, and it's a really nice gift, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm not seeing... if you can still do
Joy-Con are always drifting. You can get the Zelda Joy-Con.
That is true.
They have all the different flavors.
I'm not seeing the voucher anymore for design.
Yeah, I couldn't see it when I briefly looked earlier, but I think what you can do is just buy Microsoft Store credit now and give it to them, and then they can use it on there. But It's kind of not the same as giving them a gift that's specifically for the controller. But we've designed controllers for people before, and they've loved them. It's a really nice thing.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like that.
But Chewy's point on the Switch Joy-Con drifting, absolutely right. I've got rattled through 6 Joy-Con now, I think, that all drift. I've replaced the sticks twice, and they're still drifting, some of them. So they're always helpful.
Yeah, never hurts to get an extra set of Joy-Con. And I think if you're going down that route too, you could always grab like shells for someone and give them like a custom pair, like the set that Doc made for me. Super cool. So that's like a fun, like, if you want to go that extra mile, that's a really cool like unique thing. So while we're on the hardware side of things, I want to shout out actually the headset I'm wearing right now, the PlayStation 5. I believe it's called the 3D Pulse Audio headset, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I'm gonna confirm that.
That is what it's called.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. You're right.
It's crazy. Like the names Sony give things. Do you remember when everything, all their audio products was like Mega Bass and like it was like that big thing.
The 3D Pulse Audio. I really love this headset. I think it's really comfortable. It is wireless, so you can use it via Bluetooth. It's got 3D audio, obviously, as in the name. But something that's really cool is that also works with any console. So I use this when I play on Xbox. I use it when I play on Switch. And it, if there's 3D audio to be heard, it works. So great headset, comfortable, fairly affordable. And I think it looks pretty cool. I like the design quite a bit. And it's got like nice, really nice spongy, headphones. So I think the only thing I could see is maybe if you've got bigger ears. I know sometimes like the top of my ears, if I don't have it sitting right, it gets a little bit like it can feel a little bit tight and I have to kind of adjust it. But it's got this kind of rubber head strap on it that makes it so that the weight is set on the back of your head rather than, the way that some will like push down or kind of like put all that weight on your ears, which makes them hurt after a while. So it works pretty well for like longer gaming sessions. And it also has some buttons like on the side that you can use to like control like game or chat audio, like kind of, pretty easily. So it's like a good handy gaming headset that is at a like very nice introductory kind of price.
I would add to that, like any Bluetooth headphones, I think a good option now, especially for someone who plays on Switch who might not have a set. I mean, I know most people probably have some Bluetooth headphones at this point because no phones have headphone jacks for some reason. But
buy
if they
adapters,
don't,
never relent.
say they're like a kid or something, being able to get them just a pair of headphones so they can connect to their Switch and just play on the go, like especially if they've got a Switch Lite, for example, and you just want, maybe you're a parent who wants a little bit of peace and quiet while you're watching TV and they can just go and sit in the corner and play, then that's a good option for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got one from your list, Joe?
Yeah, this is one that I put on. I don't know how relevant it'll be for people who aren't at a desk making content all the time, but I want to get an HDMI switcher because, like, my monitor is just like a little gaming monitor and it has an HDMI port that I have to keep getting up to unplug things and then plug something else in.
I want that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So basically, like, just give yourself some extra HDMI ports, not have to get up constantly to switch between, one console to another. So yeah, that's a good one, just to have all of your things set up without having to always be setting them up,
Yeah, that's great.
Another useful side effect of those HDMI switches is they often strip out all of the HDCP stuff from HDMI. So if you ever have any problems capturing footage from your consoles, run it through one of those and then run it through your capture card, and the HDMI splitter / switcher will suck out all of the DRM for you.
Steve loves
That's awesome.
telling people how to commit crimes on this podcast.
That's not a crime. It's fair use if you're capturing your own footage for your own personal use. But I mean, that does remind me though. Say someone does want to get into streaming, there's a bunch of good options, like a capture card. I know, like, or even if they want to just stream from their console, because you can do that on both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, and you could get them like a decent microphone. You can get them relatively cheap. You can get like a decent microphone for like 30 quid and like a little USB camera. I know they've both got cameras for both the Xbox. Xbox, I think, is more open. I know you can use Pete's camera on the Xbox, the Logitech one, and you can then just stream directly to Twitch from there. And on the PlayStation, you obviously got the PlayStation camera that you can plug in and do the same thing. And it's a great gateway into getting people into streaming at a relatively low cost. They just need a microphone and a camera. Away they go. And if they don't even want to be on camera, just a microphone, and away you go.
Yeah, and for capture cards, I'm personally partial to Elgato. The HD60 Pro is the one that I use. It's great. plugs right into your computer, right into your graphics card. Makes it nice and simple. But there are a lot of options out there as well. So
Yeah.
if that's
Like a USB solution, I love my Ava Media. It also can capture directly to a micro SD card, so it's great if you want to move around, or you just press a button on the front of it and it will start a capture directly to a micro SD card. So say you have a setup that isn't connected to a computer, but you still want to capture video footage, you can just press the button when to start a recording session. You can take the micro SD card out, pop it in your computer, and you can get the footage off that way, and you don't have to be hooked up to a PC.
Yeah, that's a good one. So the next category I wanted to talk about was one I brought up earlier, which is swag they wouldn't buy themselves but would like to receive. And we got a bunch of people who wrote in with some fun ones like this. This first one comes from Olaf, a.k.a. Yarno, who wrote in and said, obviously the Xbox Series X mini fridge.
I had one of these in my cart, but it was £90 and I refused to buy it. And then I checked eBay and they're going for $300. So I've immediately regretted my decision. I should have just bought it.
I saw Wario64 was tweeting about how they actually have some like in Targets right now. And I was like, I want one, but I should not get one, you know?
No,
like
you're sat next to a fridge right now, Pete.
Yeah.
When you're downstairs, the fridge is just up the stairs.
It's like I literally could not need something less than I need a mini fridge shaped like an Xbox Series X, but God, I am such a mark.
Maybe when they make the full-sized one, you can just get that one and replace your fridge.
Full-size Xbox fridge.
Yeah, and they put a screen on the front.
It glows green when you open it. It's green light.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And this is another game example, but I wanted to save the Xbox joke, so we'll put this in here too. I'm gifting a friend of mine Mario Party Superstars because, of course, here we are in a kind of lockdown situation again. And because of that, we cannot visit each other at the time, and because of online, he can still play with me. So that's a good one too. A good multiplayer game to play with your friends. It's a solid choice.
It's a phenomenal game. It really is. And I guess a Switch Online subscription's always a good choice as well. Or even if you've got a free slot on like your family membership and you can't afford to get much,
Yeah.
chuck someone on there as like a gift. It would be a great way to spend time with them.
You can gift that to 7 people, basically. Just get a family plan and just give it to 7 of your best friends.
It's a gift that keeps giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving.
Yeah, basically you have
7.
all of your holidays planned out forever, right? Every single year. It's like, here you go, Switch Online.
You get it for a whole other year.
So this next one comes from Ray from the community, who wrote in and said, smell like Shenmue. And it's a link to the official Shenmue Tobacco and Gold unisex cologne. And shout out to the graphic on this because it's just a tiger.
That's. Do you know what that tiger is?
No.
You're not a true Shenmue fan.
I'm not a Shenmue fan at all, let alone a true
one. The picture
one.
from the back of his leather jacket. He has that stupid goofy tiger on there. So it's the back of the Shenmue jacket. If you go to the cologne category, though, there's also Sonic the Hedgehog Blue Blur unisex cologne.
I want to
so
smell
you can either smell like a hedgehog or you can smell like Shenmue.
Do you think that smells like chili dogs?
I would love to know. I really want. I was going to bring these up on one more thing before Ray sent me the link, because I really wanted to dissect what the hell these smell like. Maybe Shenmue's just Vin Diesel. It's just the Vin Diesel musk.
Well, it says it's tobacco. It says it's tobacco and
gold. Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
But what the fuck does Blue Blur smell like?
It looks like lemon. It's lemons and limes, or what's in the picture.
Limes, yeah.
Okay, it says here, given the seal of approval from the famous Speedy Hedgehog himself, this cologne boasts an aroma of fresh citrus, a zing of grapefruit zest, and exotic lemon and lime, topped with the scent of the ocean breeze and chilled melon fade. I don't know what a chilled melon fade is, but okay. So, yeah.
I really have no idea.
Okay.
It's Blue Blur.
Blue Blur.
But
It's really
bergamot
interesting.
is one of my favorite smells, and bergamot is like the second one on the list on the Shenmue one, so it might actually smell really nice. But I'm not a fan of tobacco smelling.
The last thing I just want to talk about before we move on from this is like just You know how they have the first picture and you can like hover over it and it zooms in?
Mm-hmm.
Why are both of the bottles of cologne wet?
I don't know, but it's something they do, isn't it? Have you ever noticed that? It's all perfumes they do it with. And I guess because you're like in a hot, steamy shower and then you get out and you put this on.
Yeah, but it looks like a
weird
drink.
thing.
It looks like a drink.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tobacco and gold. All right, whatever. So smell like Shenmue. That's a perfect one. There you go. You know, I wouldn't mind that Sonic cologne. That sounds pretty good. I like citrus. I want to smell.
You know someone's buying you that for Christmas now.
I want to smell like somebody who might be fast. I'm not fast, but I can smell like I'm fast, you know?
Sega's got some good shit on their website. They've also got like a bunch of Christmas jumpers, which I love Christmas jumpers, and I need to get some more.
Me too. Those are a great gift because that's the same kind of thing, right? Where it's like, this falls exactly under this category for me, where like, I would love to have that, but like, I don't want to buy an expensive, goofy Christmas sweater that I will wear exactly 1 to 2 times a year, right? Like, how many of those are you going to buy yourself, right? Probably not many. Like, I've got a good PlayStation
one
one.
T-shirt, yeah.
That's it. You know, and I bought it for like $20 for like an ugly Christmas sweater party. And I was like, okay, cool, great. So that's a great one, right? Lovely to receive. So one of the other things I kind of had in this category, which is like maybe not totally in the swag side of things, but books. I know there are a couple of really good books about gaming that came out in the last year, but obviously, you know, we have to give a shout out to Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier, a favorite of both Steve and mine. Did you ever read that, Chewie?
Press Reset.
I actually haven't.
You should. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to send you a copy. Yeah. And then
true.
Oh, go ahead.
I should listen to it because we had like an Audible thing going for like a year and we didn't know we were paying for it.
Oh no.
And we were like, oh, got to figure out what to do with all of these things.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's a good one. That book is regularly on sale. The audiobook is regularly on sale. I think that's one of the best books I've read about gaming. Press Reset was the follow-up to that. Came out earlier this year. I also really enjoyed that. I think they're both a good read, especially if you if you are the person that you are shopping for, are like a real, you know, if you like the story behind the story, they're great books. You know, like if you're the kind of person who likes to learn about the history of how a game was made and, you know, and some of those kinds of things, if you like documentaries, if you're that kind of reader, it's a great read for that. I would also shout out Awada Asks, came out earlier this year. I know, Steve, you read that and you enjoyed that quite a bit. I still haven't gotten around to it. I have a copy, but I haven't read it yet.
I know, I'm still reading Console Wars as well, which I know is an old book.
Love that book,
but I've never ever read it, and it's actually really good. It's written very differently to how I expected it. It's written like a story.
It's a narrative, yeah.
Happening. It's not like a... Say Jason's books are like a journalist has written them and is documenting after the fact. It kind of is like it's happening. It's a story. You know, it's like someone was sat at the beach and they were at the pool and then someone walks over and this happened and then this happened. It's really cool. I do really like it.
Fantastic.
I think there's a lot of embellishments and dramatization in places, but I do like it.
It's a good read, yeah. That has a great audiobook as well. That I have. I read it and listened to it at different times. A friend of mine bought me that before like Audible was a thing, and like I had it on like discs, like 20 discs of this book.
I remember those. Do you remember tapes as well, like the cassette tape ones? And,
tape.
And it would be like, now turn over to that side B, and then you put it back in.
Yeah, it'd be like, put in disc 4. All right, cool. Yeah, those are all great. The Ultimate History of Video Games, I think, is the other book I'm thinking of. Let me see. Yep. By Stephen L. Kent. That's another favorite of mine. It's just it is a really great comprehensive history of video games. Somewhat out of date now, just because obviously, you know, more generations have come and gone.
Another generation now, yeah.
But all of the information about the golden, silver, bronze ages of video games is fantastic. Like, I learned so much about Atari and like Nolan Bushnell and even older. Like it actually starts with pinball machines and like the original coin operated machines that predate arcade machines and like
cool.
the legal battles that went through that in the States about, is this gambling, is it not, like all these things that had to be overcome to kind of pave the way for video games and the traditional arcade experience. So that's a fantastic read. Great book. I've read it a couple times. So yeah, definitely a couple great ones. Similarly, we got a write-in here from Affy, one of our Patreon supporters, who wrote it and said, the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Encyclopedia, which is even more relevant thanks to Switch Online. This is like a great, I love these kinds of books, like the like coffee table like type, like, hey, like let's, it's every game on this platform and there's like a couple paragraphs about it, and there's like there's one of these for the NES, the Super Nintendo. I
think they're all written by Chris Scullion as well. I think they're all by the same author, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and I know there's an Xbox one from the folks over at Xbox Era currently on Kickstarter that I know Jeff Grubb is contributing to.
I know a Game Boy one like just came out too that I really wanted to grab, and I think it was written by another really well-known journalist. Their name's like escaping me right now, but that also came out earlier this year. That's another one I'd love to get under my tree. I wanted to pick that up, but I missed it.
I love anything from the folks over at Bitmap Books. It might be quite expensive to ship them out of the UK because they're UK based, but they have some absolutely gorgeous books, and I think that's the one you're talking about, which is the Game Boy, the box art collection.
Yes, yeah.
I've got the Art of Point and Click Adventure games. It's so good. They've got one called Arcade, which is just a great collection of like the marquees that were above arcade machines, like the light up marquees that you would get. And the book's like a big long landscape, and when you open it up, it spans over like both pages, so you can see all of the like full glossy artwork of these arcade machines. It's really, really cool.
That's beautiful. I love that. Similarly, shout out to Boss Fight Books. That's a series of kind of like I think they're like more like novellas. They vary a lot in style and kind of like execution, but the premise of the series is just that like they get different writers to write about a game, and they're able to kind of choose the format. Like some of them will write more about the history of the game, some of them will write more about like their personal experience with it, or why they connect with it emotionally, or why it's a game that they feel deserves to be remembered, that kind of thing. So just a really, really a good fun series. I haven't read any of the recent ones, but I read most of the ones in the first wave because I was a Kickstarter backer when they first kicked it off a couple years ago. So that's another good series as well.
What about you, Cheer? Are there any books that you would recommend?
I mean, not really at the top of my mind, but I'm taking all these recommendations for sure, especially the ones that there's a lot that I haven't gone through in terms of books. So yeah, I'm happy to hear them.
Cool. So this is one that came from Andy Radford, one of our Patreon producers, who wrote in and said, wall art. There's lots available, and much of it by independent artists, or a book is always good. I like the Art of series from game studios like Naughty Dog. And then for stocking fillers or Secret Santa presents, something smaller like gaming coasters or PlayStation Plus is an option. I like those suggestions. I think art is another great one in that kind of like, oh, you might not buy this for yourself, but it's really cool. I think that
Absolutely,
one I would add the caveat though, like make sure you know the person's style, right? Because it's like you want to get them a piece that they really want to feature in their home and throw up on the wall and everything. So if it's somebody that you're confident you know the kind of stuff that they like, I think that's a slam dunk. Especially if it's like a nice, you're supporting an independent artist, or maybe you get like a nice kind of like limited, run kind of thing. Like I know on the BioWare store, they've done like a bunch of limited like Mass Effect prints and stuff like that, that some of them are really, really cool. And, I think if you're a big fan, you'd love to receive. But I like the idea of going the independent route, finding somebody on
head into like Etsy or someone's like print shop or something. Yeah, it's really cool. I know in the email Dad sent through, it was like a link to a Game Boy that had been taken apart and put in a frame, and then they were selling that. I know you've got one too.
You mean this?
Yeah, so I know they're quite expensive, but they're really fucking cool.
It was worth every penny. This shit is awesome. I love this. This is by oh gosh, what's the name? Grid. I think Grid Studio, I think, is the name of the studio that produces these. Yeah. And they have them for like everything. Like they've got like they did one with like a Vita. They have like a couple other like I think they did a couple controllers and stuff like that. Very cool.
Yeah, custom art stuff is really cool. I have a couple, well, one custom and then the other is just kind of like another place to look in case you want to. But the first one, I got this little amiibo made of my little Animal Crossing character. I don't know how well it'll show up with the light on.
Yeah, it was a DIY Crossing, right?
Yeah, DIY Crossing.
So good.
Pretty hard to get, I guess, commissions from them. A lot of these people take them very seldomly. They take a while to, make them and everything. But getting one of those is pretty awesome for somebody.
Sure, I've been trying to get one of those for about 6 months. The commission slots come up. It's one of the only accounts I have alerts on Twitter. And I never, ever managed to get a slot. Ever. Yeah, they sell out so quickly.
Instantly.
I was thinking about trying to get them to do a cake topper for my wedding. And I was like, I'm not going to get this in time.
Yeah, they do those. Yeah, that's one of the options.
Yeah, that's one of the options. So that's a really cool one. And then my brother actually got me like a displate piece of art that was like Animal Crossing, and those are pretty cool. I have to put mine back up because the little sticky stuff that kept it up kind of fell off. But they're cool in the sense of like you can put them basically anywhere, and they're metallic, so it's like a magnet that you put up on your wall, and you don't really have to be all careful like, where do I hit this nail in or anything. Like you can adjust it slightly in order to put it where you want. But then the cool part about it too is like if you get more than one, like you could just pull it right off and then put the other one on and just like swap through different artworks. So yeah, it's not a bad place. They have some cool things. And that was Displate. Yeah.
Display. Send me the link and I'll pop it in the show notes for people.
Sure.
On the other things that Dad listed, the gaming coasters in particular, I absolutely love. Dad got me these ones a few years ago, which are like tiny little PlayStation cases, and they also do ones that are like Game Boy boxes you can get, or like
I have a series of those for NES cartridges.
They're so good. They're so good. It's just a nice little thing to have, especially if someone's got like a game room or something that they want to fill out. And things like PlayStation Plus, that goes along with what Asobi was saying with Game Pass. Things like that are always useful if you really don't know what to get someone. That or eShop credit or Xbox credit or Steam credit or whatever platform you know that they play on, it's always really helpful for people as like a last minute gift.
Another one I wanted to call out. This is something that I know I really like. Now that so Sarah and I have been living together for a couple of years now, right? And when we first moved when we first moved in together, I should say, and we had our first Christmas tree together, I had this realization that like I don't have a lot of Christmas ornaments, like when my parents split up, my mom took all of them. So like any of the ones that I had that kind of connection to were like pretty much gone. So I was like, like that kind of bummed me out. And I wanted to get some new ones and like, kind of like start making my own memories and having my own set. Right. And like, this is one of the ones I got last year from Hallmark. And it's cool. If you're not watching on YouTube, it's a gold Legend of Zelda cartridge. And Hallmark has a partnership with Nintendo and a couple other like geeky kind of orgs like that where they do a set every year. So this was like from the 2020 set. They have a new set this year. Like there's like a Mario one. They've got like a Spider-Man one and stuff like that I grabbed, and there's a couple other really cool ones from Hallmark. So if you celebrate Christmas and you like to like add new ornaments to your tree every year, or maybe you are like me and you moved in with a new partner, or like you're out on your own and getting your own tree or something like that, or someone else who's in that situation, super cool, cute little gift, not super expensive. But like a nice little keepsake that every time they pull it out and put it up on the tree, they'll think of you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mum and Dad actually got me this one this year, which is like a
cool.
Oh, that's
little
awesome.
Pac-Man machine.
I love that. It's got a Christmas
It's like
tree
the
on
most
it.
fragile thing ever. Yeah, it's got a little Christmas tree on it. There's the most fragile piece of glass there, so you have to go like super careful with it. But it's awesome. I look forward to getting that one up. But yeah, I think smaller little things are always great because it's stuff that you can just fit in a you got your copy of basketball. Things that you can just stuff in a stocking, or just like smaller gifts if you're just trying to like get things for people. It's really good. Something else that kind of I also thought about that's not necessarily about video games, but gaming as a whole is outside of video games. Board games are always great, especially if you can have a good group of people.
This is for video games, Steve.
It's not.
The
It's
Stardew Valley
games.
board game that you
The Stardew Valley board
sent.
game would be a great option. I would very much like
I
to
was
play
hoping it would make it to you by Christmas, but Lord knows at this point, bud.
It's definitely not going to. But I want to call out in particular Secret Hitler. Everyone should play this game.
Great game.
It's phenomenal. And coming up to Christmas, you can play this with up to 10 people. So if you have people over at your house, or you go into someone else's, it's such a simple game. And if you can't afford to buy it, you can print everything on their website for free. It's completely free to download and print, and you can just print it off at home on your home printer, and you can play this game without needing any of the bits.
Pretty sure
awesome.
they have an online version that's free as well.
Yeah, so you can play it. It's the same with stuff like Codenames.
Codenames also has that.
Really
Yeah,
good. It's really, really nice. And similarly, stuff like Jackbox is always good. You can gift people that on stuff like Steam.
Yeah.
And then you can play that with them over Christmas. I know Mario Party is also on that list of things that people should play over Christmas.
Yeah, Jackbox,
play
Mario
Wingspan.
Party.
That's a great.
I really, really want Wingspan, but the price of board games has gone
Get
up
the
and up
Switch
and up.
version. Just get the Switch version.
I want the paper version with the gorgeous pieces.
I mean, they're both good.
Awesome engine building game. I'm very excited to play that.
Yeah.
So a few other things I had kind of in mind in this category are stuff I've received in the past. Mugs. Always enjoy getting a good mug. I feel like everybody could always use a good mug. I know PlayStation has some really good ones on the PlayStation Store that are like these nice, they're kind of like the metal, like those more premium style, but like still has like the cork handle and everything. Very, very cool looking. A couple good ones.
Those are great. The metal ones until you put your lips on them, and then you realize that metal is a very good conductor, and it gets very fucking hot, and so your lips are not good. Only drink cold drinks out of those metal cups because you will burn yourself.
I feel like toys, pajamas, blankets, socks, any of those things are solid stocking stuffers, if you just need something quick and dirty.
Like clothes in general, right?
Yeah,
like
t-shirts.
You mentioned, your t-shirt that you're wearing. Like, I don't really wear any gaming stuff. That obviously does depend on needing to know a person's size, which you may not know, but
you probably
socks you can always get.
Yeah. I feel like if you're buying someone a Christmas present, you probably can figure that out.
Have you seen the froggy chair socks, Chewy?
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah,
That's
you're gonna love
amazing.
them. I'll send you the link. They're on Air and No Go. I'll send you the link. There's the froggy chair socks. They're so good.
I recently got some Animal Crossing socks, and they were at Target, and they came in a little box that was like the presents that you shoot out of the sky.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's so cool.
Mine, unfortunately, it was the only one there, but it was like a little bit crushed up. But I was like, nope, still getting it. Still cute.
This was one that I really liked. This one comes from another one of our Patreon supporters, Matthew Murphy, who wrote in and said, I was going to recommend a gravity blanket for the gift guide. I've been having a difficult time focusing while gaming, but a weighted blanket keeps me anxiety-free and centered on what I'm doing in that moment. I like that. That's a good suggestion.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try one of those.
Me too.
It's like in moments that I'm feeling really stressed out, just because it's meant to make you feel really calm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know, like, blankets in general are, like, when I'm feeling anxious or stressed out, that's usually my go-to.
Go get in bed.
Go get in bed, pull a blanket up, hope that one of my cats jumps on top of me and starts purring. I feel like that's the same
I love
vibe.
that. It's the best.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is so good. Do you know, I can't sleep with a really thick, heavy blanket or duvet on me, but I absolutely adore the feeling of just that, like, weight going on top. And so I imagine it's that exact same experience. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And it's not something I think a lot of people consider.
No, and I could definitely see that being a good solution, because I know, like, a lot of folks play games when they're feeling anxious, right? So maybe that's like a nice thing to kind of go along with that, right? For like your calming down routine. Pop on your favorite game, play a little bit of Animal Crossing, get under your weighted blanket, have a nice chamomile tea, get all nice and cozy.
Sounds fairy lovely. Lights on, be real cozy.
Yeah, it sounds great. That sounds lovely. Any other ones you guys wanted to call out before we wrap it up here?
I don't know. I'm just a fan of t-shirts as well, so I've got to say, yeah, get some cool shirts.
I'll never say no to a good front print t-shirt, you know. I have way too many of them and I refuse to get rid of any of them. So keep them coming.
Yeah, nothing in particular. I would just say that, you know, I know Christmas can be a very stressful time for some people, and they worry about money and they worry about spending a lot and doing all of that. But I think there is something you can get anyone from any price range, ranging from free up to hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and just don't overstretch yourself. Just stay within your means. People don't expect anything, and make something if you can't afford to buy something. It's really the thought that counts.
Definitely.
And I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Like, obviously it's nice to give and receive gifts, but that's not the reason we do it, right? The whole point is to show that you care. So don't feel pressured to get wrapped up in that whole capitalistic thing. It's supposed to be about fun, right? So some of the gifts that I've received that I've appreciated the most were made or were cheap and just thoughtful, so yeah, don't feel like you need to break the bank. That's for sure.
Yeah. And we can all buy less in general, so it's fine.
Yes, definitely. We're a very wasteful species, and we should stop doing that.
Absolutely. Okay, so thank you guys so much for writing in, everybody who did. Chewy, thanks for joining us here on this very special episode of the Flip Screen Games podcast.
Thanks for having me. It was a good time. I love talking, just buying stuff. Even though we should buy less, it's still fun.
Yeah. We are cut from the same cloth in that regard, my friend. It's like, hey, capitalism is bad, but also I want to buy everything.
It's just that shot of there's endorphins when you're just like really excited about something. It's why people love like watching videos of people unpacking amiibo cards or Pokemon cards to see like what they're gonna get. It's fun. I don't know why. It's just fun.
I'm glad I got out of that game though. I'll tell you what. Like Pokemon cards, I had to leave that life behind. A couple years ago, I remember my friends were like, "Oh, we're collecting Pokemon cards again. You should start playing with us." And I was like, "You're literally trying to put a just heroin in my arm. That's what you're trying to do to me right now, and I can't abide by that. So don't get your friends trading cards." It's a dark road
to go down.
I made that mistake with amiibo cards and Macaulay. I've got those like 5 packs of amiibo cards I keep meaning to open on stream, and every day Macaulay's like, "Have you opened them yet? I really want to see which ones are in there because I really want those amiibo cards, and I need to see what's going in there."
So
duplicates.
Oh my gosh.
This is my stack of duplicates.
Oh my god. Don't give your friends the gift of addiction, kids. Look at this. He's got a problem. All right,
Too
actually,
many.
send
Too
Chewy
many.
the cards for Christmas because we need to complete this collection so he can stop buying them.
I have to check the mail, actually. I think some of the trades that I have made have come through, so
Beautiful.
yeah.
Well, I hope that you get all of those under your Christmas tree this year, buddy. So anyway, thanks again, everybody, for writing in. Thank you for being a part of the show. We really appreciate you. Thanks again to our Patreon supporters and our Patreon producers for the month of November. Y'all are the best. And hey, it's a great thing. You give the gift of a Patreon subscription to us this holiday season. We greatly appreciate it. All right, cool. So, and of course, FlipScreen.games. Head over to the website. You can get links to all the places you can go and show your support, engage, become a part of the community without spending a nickel. So yeah, please come be a part of it. Let us know what you're hoping to get under the tree this year, or not the tree. If you celebrate any of the other winter holidays, that's whatever you're hoping to get. That's cool too. All right, so that's enough of a rambling for this end. We're gonna call it right here. So for this week's Flip Screen Games, I've been Pete, he's been Steve, he's been Chewy. We'll see you next week, and happy holidays.